If you grew up between 1990 and 2006, you lived through something special. You experienced a version of life that doesn't exist anymore. No smartphones, no instant streaming, and we're the first generation to grow up both with and without social media. Life was snacks, TV, computer games, and playing outside, and somehow it just all felt better. From cult sodas, once-in-a-lifetime experiences, to tech that felt futuristic at the time. These are the things that made growing up in the 90s and early 2000s truly unforgettable. Blockbuster was an experience we still miss to this day. Every Friday night you were hoping your parents would say, "Do you want to go to Blockbuster?" It was more than a store. Walking in, the smell of popcorn, the hum of fluorescent lights, and the rows upon rows of VHS tapes felt magical. And when Mum said you could get a movie, game, and a snack, that was the ultimate trifecta. And choosing a movie wasn't just browsing, it was a ritual. Debating with siblings and finally deciding which movie to watch, then checking behind the box to find that nothing was there. So we had to start the ritual all over again. And then you got home and realised the last person wasn't kind, they didn't rewind, and when we returned it late, it meant a late fee and the telling off, but it also meant memories. Every visit was magical, an experience we'll cherish forever. Going to a fast food restaurant growing up was a treat, so getting invited to a McDonald's birthday party, that was peak childhood. Balloons on sticks, Happy Meals and staring at the toy display hoping you got the best one. Party packs, running around the play area, playing on consoles and pea shooting friends with straws, whilst everyone was sitting on plastic chairs. It felt like a tiny festival. Parents loved it for ease, while the kids loved it for the chaos, and everyone remembers it as pure happiness. Y2K was a fear that computers would end civilization at midnight on January 1st, 2000. Families stocked up on food, water, candles, and batteries, and some people made fortunes getting computers Y2K ready, while kids, they just stuck Y2K ready stickers on the home PCs or doodled it in Windows Paint. There's a real strange mix of fear that planes would fall from the sky and anticipation to see if we would actually make it to the next day. Looking back, it was pretty crazy, but this once-in-a-lifetime event perfectly captured how unique the era actually was. Saturday mornings were sacred. We'd wake up first and sprint to the kitchen to grab cereal, mainly for the toy, and then race to the TV to choose cartoons from the 4 TV channels we had access to. Animaniacs, Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Pokémon. We'd sit inches from the screen in our pajamas until midday. No streaming, no skipping ads, just anticipation and excitement. Afterwards, we'd meet our friends by the green electric box to talk episodes and relive those special moments. Dunkaroos were cookies and frosting in perfect harmony. Frosting first, cookies seconds, but you always ran at the frosting even when you tried to ration it with the cookies. Kids would trade all their snacks just for one Dunkaroo. They commanded the respect of the lunchroom, and even our parents loved them. They were pure sugar, pure happiness, and pure nostalgia. Surge, the neon green ultra caffeinated soda that screamed extreme. Kids would spend all their pocket money trying to buy Surge to see the green soda and get the caffeine fix. One sip and you felt simply unstoppable, or at least capable of running around the playground for an hour straight. Parents called it liquid sugar and panic in a bottle, but to us it wasn't just a drink, it was an attitude. And it was the essence of the 90s energy craze. Before Spotify, we had CD binders full of burnt discs. Every mix told a story, which usually began with, "It was this song which gave the family computer a LimeWire virus." They were carefully labelled with marker pens, scratched, and sometimes unreadable. You flipped through them debating what to play on your Discman or on a long road trip. It was a personal music library, but chaotic. Every CD was a gamble, a roulette of not knowing what songs you put on which CD, with every skip a lesson in patience. It was our first taste of creating music, and no playlist app will ever make us feel the same. Pokémon Cards were the ultimate playground currency. Recess revolved around trading, battling, and showing off your collection. Pulling a Charizard or a holo card felt unbeatable, and the only wallet they ever went into was a Velcro one. Trading cards with your Diglett fingers was serious business, and some of us even went to local swap events just to catch them all. We grew up with Ash, Brock, Misty, and Pikachu. Pokemon wasn't just a game, it was life in the 90s and 2000s. Beanie Babies were the cryptocurrency of our childhood. Stuffed animals turned cultural obsession. Kids collected them convinced they'd make us rich, and some couples even fought over them in divorces. Price guys told us how wealthy we'd become from the under the bed collections, and well, McDonald's, even they jumped on the hype with the TY Beanie Baby Happy Meal toys. Parents rolled their eyes, but to us they were magical, cute, and a little bit legendary. 90s and early 2000s fashion was unmatched, and starter jackets, they were the ultimate flex. Bright, oversized, and instantly cool. Wearing one felt like announcing you belonged. Seeing someone turn up at school or in a game, it was always so impressive. An iconic statement of the 90s and 2000s era. Pogs ruled the playground. Slam them, stack them, trade them. Everyone had a favourite Keenie and a strategy. Winning meant bragging rights. Losing meant going home with no Pogs and an angry mom. You could even make your own Pogs with a Pog maker, and eventually schools got sick of kids crying for losing their Pogs and dealing with angry parents, so they banned them. Simple rules, huge emotions, and perfect playground chaos. After you beat your siblings to the family computer, you chose to waste hours staring at 3D pipes on Windows 95, watching them twist and collide and guessing where the next one could go. It was mesmerizing. Screensavers weren't just functional, they were hypnotic mini worlds, competing with flying toasters and 3D mazes. Opening a computer just to watch them felt strangely satisfying. Yo-yos weren't toys, they were a skill test. Walk the dog, around the world, rock the baby, practicing for hours just to impress your friends. And failing was frankly embarrassing, but once you nailed the trick, it was pure pride. Simple, competitive, and endlessly fun. The Nokia 3210 was a smartphone of our childhood. Snake was pure addiction, like Angry Birds, but worse. Chasing high scores, hitting walls, and believing someone who claimed they filled the screen, and trying to do this even though you knew it was absolutely far-fetched. Clicky buttons, simple graphics, iconic sounds, and the only alternative to reading shampoo bottles on the toilet. 3D Pinball Space Cadet, the game that came free with Windows and became legendary. You'd play it on a family computer, which was usually meant for homework, but somehow Pinball always loaded first. The graphics felt futuristic at the time, the music was hypnotic, and you always tried to beat your last high score before someone shouted they needed a computer. It wasn't the game you asked for, it was there, and that made it even better. Orbitz Soda, the floating gelatin balls that looked like a science experiment, bought purely for the novelty value. Poking the balls with a straw and trying to slurp them up one at a time kept us entertained for hours, just as shaking the bottle in circles did. The taste and experience was unforgettable, a perfect example of bold packaging, innovation, and design. Dial-up internet, that screeching sound meant you were online. Pages loaded painfully slow, aging you sometimes up to weeks. And as for downloading the file, well, that could take you years. Someone picking up the phone caused chaos, shouting, "Get off the phone, I'm on the internet." AOL chat rooms, discovering new websites, and seeing things you really shouldn't have, like Blue Waffle and Two Girls, One Cup. And you only used the internet on the family computer, which wasn't a bad thing, because it meant we were only online in front of the computer. The personal CD player was a portal to music heaven. Trying to squeeze it into your jacket pocket on the way to school and listen to it on the bus. One bump and the song skipped. We all know anti-skip was the biggest lie of our generation. One album at a time, fading headphones, catching only parts of songs. It was personal, it made you feel music deeper, and it was simply magic. AIM and MSN Messenger were the battleground of teenage social life. Away messages were a work of art. Lyrics, cryptic quotes, or passive-aggressive messages aimed at one person. Just for when you got back online, people would ask if you're okay, for you to respond, "Yeah, I'm fine." Buddy lists were social currency, and the typing bubble could make or break your day. It wasn't just chatting, it was strategy, it was performance, it was emotion, it was life. We had BearShare, Napster, but LimeWire, this is the one we've got the most nostalgia for. It was wild, chaotic, and a slightly sketchy gateway to our first music obsession. You'd spend hours searching for one song, downloading a suspiciously tiny file and praying it worked, only for it to have a DJ intro. Sometimes it was mislabels, and sometimes you got a virus that killed the family computer, but getting the latest track before anyone else, that was a feeling that's simply unmatched. Everyone had folders full of badly named MP3s that we eventually burnt onto CDs with random album art. LimeWire wasn't just software, it was rebellion, patience, and the ultimate music hack. It taught us how to use the internet, and it taught us how to panic when a virus appeared. 1990 to 2006 wasn't just a time, It was a transition. We grew up offline, learned online, and experienced both worlds. The tech was clunky, the snacks were neon, and everything just felt slower and more real. These weren't just trends, they were moments. And if you remember them, you're part of a generation that saw the world change forever.